this is not the new series. That'll be out in 2 weeks, but episodes 1 to 7 of my current loner have crap audio, so some of you in the YouTube comments suggested that I either remaster the audio or recap the series. I initially decided to remaster the audio with Baby Tuna's help and Ned Currency's feedback, but I never released anything, and I've changed my mind now to a recap since it's more concise. So here's what you missed, what the goals have been, and what to look forward to. Inspired by a years-old video that had been taken down, I made my no NPC interaction account with one rule: I don't talk to NPCs, with exceptions made for any content that would be accessible without the NPCs there, which I'll call target exceptions for short. After dropping everything from the NPCs on Tutorial Island, episode 1 was about how to get tools, resources, and train my skills without NPCs. For tools and resources, I found item spawns, lots of them, which I'll reference as I use them, the RD Nature Rune Chest for magic runes later, seed stores for farming later, and as for skills, I trained stats that didn't need anything or only needed tool item spawns. I got 27 thieving for seed stores and 28 thieving for the RD Nature Rune Chest, though not without almost dying twice to thieving civilians instead of the much cooler and safer methods of picklocking the Ham Hideout Trapdoor and the RD Nature Rune Chest door, 2 fishing with the small fishing net spawn in Lumbridge Swamp, 15 wood cutting with the bronze axe spawn on the first floor of the Falador East Furnace, 5 fletching with the knife spawn on the first floor of the Barrack General Store, and 36 agility for decent energy regen, though I did not get a clip of being talked to by Femme the NPC en route to the Tree Gnome Stronghold agility course. I just didn't record it this time. Still, the energy regen is useful, and it's even better with the Boots of Lightness, which I got at the Temple of Ikov with a knife spawn from earlier, and the lit candle spawn on the first floor of the Varrock Sword Shop. I also found some blue flowers on the way. Not an item spawn, but there are many of these, unlike their description. Episode 2 started with finding yellow flowers, a rarely found one this time, and training more stats that only needed item spawns. I got 44 prayer for all protection prayers and eagle eye, using big bones from the boneyard on the chaos altar, but not without a few deaths. And I also got all the stats for barbarian fishing, since it only needs the barbarian fishing rod from under Otto's bed, only to find out that I couldn't get it, because you can't find the barbarian fishing rod unless you've talked to Otto the NPC first. So the 48 fishing, which I got with the small net fishing spawn, 15 strength, which I'd gotten with the iron mace spawn in the Arty market, since I dropped the iron scimitar spawn from the wilderness, and the 15 agility, which I already had. All those stats? Pointless! And if that weren't enough, I went back to small fishing shrimp and anchovies and found my first beginner clue due to a Reldo hot and cold step. Episode 3 was where I decided to train range, though I still don't know why. But for range training, I decided to skip the better options of making iron knives or picking up the shortbow spawn in Tavali and killing minotaurs for iron arrows in favour of making a bronze crossbow with 1800 bronze bolts, all made from scratch, and making an iron crossbow with 700 iron bolts, also all made from scratch. Look, you can only make 5 iron knives per bar as opposed to the 15 bolts per bar, and the range attack bonus of a crossbow is better than a shortbow, so I thought bolts would be better than arrows, which they're fucking not! Crossbows are way too slow, as demonstrated at these level 22 hand members, where I, arguably, got the only actual gains of the episode, a steel pickaxe, my best in slot pickaxe without clue juggling, so that's actually a big unlock, and a steel axe, which I immediately decided to replace with a mithril axe in episode 4, which I eventually got by killing blue dragons in Tavali Dungeon, with Firebolt and Fire Strike, with no issues whatsoever. But at least I got the mithril axe with runes to spare, which I'll use for a long time. Never mind, I'll use the rune axe for a long time. As for episode 5, I wanted to get the stats to make some mid-level tools and gear for easy rebuilding should I ever wipe on my account, which I thought that I might end up doing because I thought about killing Crazy Archaeologist in about episode 8.
Nope.
But anyway, the stats I got were 68 fishing for the fishing equipment spawns in the fishing guild with the terrible method of catching shrimps and anchovies since I didn't know that frog spawn was possible and better. 43 magic for superheating iron ore and working towards 62 magic for windwave for Crazy Archaeologist. 43 smithing and 42 crafting after completing the Elemental Workshops 1 and 2 quests over episodes 4 and 5, 70 fletching for U longbows, and 75 fletching with the tinderbox inside the Wise Old Man's house, which I will count as a target exception. And during this, I managed to complete my first beginner clue, where I got leather band braces, and nearly completed my first hard clue, despite having only 61 completable steps out of over 129. I originally calculated it as 129, I actually think it's 176, but had to drop it on the 6th step, the last before a guaranteed casket. And I got lucky enough to get the beaver pet at 81 woodcutting and 70 fletching.
Who's that Pokemon?
I spent all of episode 6 frantically getting 500k to insure my pet, since auto pet insurance doesn't exist yet, and I can't store it in a bank or house. At some point in a previous episode, I unlocked the last man standing coffers as a target exception, so I had a bit of cash there, but for the rest of the 500k, I got it by getting 55 magic with superheat runes from the RD Nature rune chest and random runes from Ogress Warriors, then fletching and hierarchy U longbows, and the rune armor drops from Ogress Warriors. And after getting 500k, I made a target exception to talk to Probita, the NPC, to insure my pet. As a bonus, I completed an easy clue, where I dropped over some teleport scrolls and a coif to an in-game friend I'd made that episode, so yeah, that's pretty cool. In episode 7, I got more rebuilding and Crazy Archaeologist stats, like another 500k in case I got another pet, unlikely, but you never know. I also got 62 magic for Windwave, 61 thieving to get into the Black Scimitar spawn area in Ardy Castle, 51 smithing for the Mithril Axe, 66 magic for the Magical Teleports, 59 smithing for the Mithril Grapple, 80 fletching for the Magic Shortbow, 82 fletching for the Amethyst Arrows, 80 fire making to even the stats, 68 magic to enchant Dragonstone Jewelry, and another 500k just in case. And I tried to get 70 crafting for the Amiya Power, but my best method of making tiaras with a steel pickaxe wasn't great, and I can't use the Fremenic Sandpit or Fremenic Furnace to glass make. Also, I tried to train rune crafting without the Rune Mysteries quest, since being able to make my own runes would be useful. Technically it is possible, but the only methods I found were making air tiaras, with 1 in 20 drops of air talismans from Air Wizard south of Falador. The air tiara is cool, I've still got it as of the end of last episode, episode 11, but the method is very RNG dependent, so I won't use it. And the other method is killing Zamorak crafters for 1 in 20 drops of 3 pure essence, which is also very RNG dependent, and you constantly get hijacked by Zamorak rangers, so in episode 8, after some time away to play Trailblazer League, I decided to not kill Crazy Archaeologist and to go for Scorpio instead, to get a rune pickaxe, which will help me get ammo for future ranged PvM. But Scorpio needs higher stats and gear, so that's what I spent the episode getting. Well, after some failed prayer flicking practice, which I'll also need for Scorpio, I got 85 fishing and 90 cooking for dark crabs, but got a medium clue on the way that took me to Brimhaven, where I showed off the yellow flowers there to the same in-game friend from episode 6. And lost my beaver pet after a series of very unfortunate events, like being poisoned by a level 32 tribesman at 64 combat, 1 level away from them not attacking at all, right after dropping a bunch of cooked lobsters from my 90 cooking party, which would have allowed me to tank the poison. Having a ring of dueling in my looting bag, which I couldn't get without destroying the bag and therefore the ring, which would have instant teleported me to Claymores for the free-for-all portal for safety. Not having access to any anti-poison, including from the Karamja shop nearby, having freshly used a minigame teleport just to get to Brimhaven, meaning I was on a 20-minute cooldown before I could teleport to Clan Wars. home teleporting to Lumbridge in a panic during this cooldown timer, whereas I should have just waited the 20 minutes for the cooldown timer, trying and failing to get a canoe from Lumbridge because I got a bronze axe from the farthest log from the canoe, using the minigame teleport anyway, because yeah, and dying right after I got to Claymores, just before I got to the free-for-all port for safety. But at least I know about the better bronze axe in the log spot on the east side of Lumbridge, which, spoiler alert, I will end up using for any worldy PVM content. Anyway, after that tragic loss, I went back to getting gear and stats for Scorpia, like the Zami Monk Bottom from Monks of Zamorak, working towards 79 magic for the Entangle and Earthwave spells, 72 prayer for more prayer points just in general, though I didn't quite get that level, and 75 thieving for gem stores for easy remaking of amulets and magic. Though I also didn't quite get that level, I thought it'd be a good idea to get some of the thieving XP by thieving seed stores and training farming on the way. Well, at least I trained a farming skill and built my dream farm for summer pines, tuned potatoes, and tomato anything, purely for nostalgia and aesthetic reasons. Even though the no tool storage, no compost storage, no plague cure, losing hops to despawn timers, and a random event being classified as an attacker instead of an NPC nearly drove me bananas. Even though I can't actually plant banana trees because I can't get a gardening trowel from level 7 farmers or anywhere else. But what actually drove me bananas was when the Isle of Souls came out during the farming grind, where there were 2 fishing equipment spawns, a big fishing net, though fellow Snowflake Army 1 said that it is slower than a small fishing net, and a lobster pot, which is definitely faster than a small fishing net. And looking back on it, I am so fucking pissed because I worked so damn hard to get 68 fishing to get the fishing gold equipment spawns, and now there's just a lobster pot cruising on the beach and laying back like that fucking tall leprechaun who sunbathes on top of that one mountain or something. And no, I'm totally not bitter about wasting 500,000 fishing XP catching fucking shrimps and anchovies from like 40 to 68 fishing. Totally not at all. I even stopped cooking the fish I caught on the way, which would have gotten me halfway from, I think it was like 86 to 87 cooking or something, which would have made getting the cooking stats for dark crabs a hell of a lot easier. But anyway, the actual benefit of the Isle of Souls is access to a bird's nest, which I actually had to get from the Isle of Souls dungeon chest, since the spawn didn't work. But I could finally train Hunter for the first time, which I wanted to train to get better ranged gear for future ranged PVM, only to not train Hunter for half the episode, where I nearly died to swamp gas in Lumpy Swamp while trying to get a cosmic rune from Big Frogs to charge a Ring of Forging, saving myself with a Ring of Dueling that, unlike when I lost my beaver pet, wasn't in a looting bag, get death runes and blood runes from Inkus towards magic XP in Scorpia, got run into by Jeb, tried a hard clue, nearly wiped to my laptop crashing in a freak accident, tried another hard clue, got a mythical pickaxe from the Isle of Souls, and wasted 2 hours death pile clue juggling for another hard clue, only to once again fail it. Then I finally trained Hunter, only to constantly burn bird meat, even though I'm 90 cooking and they only need 11 cooking to cook it all, failed at Horn Grox and other pitfall traps, and got 73 Hunter at Black Salamanders, though I will skip Blackchin Chompers on this account and aim for 84 to Bare Hand Ninjas. Seriously, the only Hunter success I had was when I turned my normal leather van braces into normal spiky van braces with some kebbit claws I got from hunting kebbits. I then took a break and found another lobster pot spawn, just chilling in sand at Temporos this time. Found a water skin spawn, also at Temporos. Found out that, for a brief moment, I could have trained construction without buying a house, also at Temporos, to store the ear tiara that I still have, and got all the giant big fish. All of which I eventually caught by the middle of episode 11, except for the big harpoon fish, since it's only available at Temporos. Along the way, I completed my first medium clue, where I got the Army of Power I'd been searching for since episode 5, found out that I could have completed beginner hot and cold steps all along without talking to Roldo the NPC. Then I went back to Black Salamanders, got 84 Hunter, and then had to catch implings in the overworld.
What was that?
Where I got nothing, because I can't catch them in Puro without a butterfly net and impling jar, even though I can access Puro without the Lost City quest. Did get the rune scimitar though, that was very nice. And that's the progress so far, but it leaves us with a few questions. Will I get better ranged gear from implings? And what is this future ranged PVM anyway? Will I ever get the stats and gear for Scorpia, let alone actually go to Scorpia? And is the crazy archaeologist goal really gone? Find out in season 2 of the Loner account.